But it was pretty interesting because it was two music supervisors from Los Angeles and then one editor, and they were talking about how the relationship between the two of them. I actually stood up and asked the question about what about independent artists, what about up and coming artists, what's happening, and to listen firsthand of professionals in the industry and from different kinds of industry about how they're really going day to day.
Martin, we're here, day one,
Yes.
South by.
Yes.
How's it been?
It's been great. I'm
Yeah?
a little tired.
Already?
Legs are done.
Oh no, we
But-
still have a bunch of days left.
I know. I'm recharging batteries, but
Okay.
here we go.
Okay, great,
Yeah.
great. Have you seen any great panels today? Heard any
Yes.
good conversations?
So I really liked the panel today that I went to. I went to one before the Jaron Marshall.
Which we'll get into.
I know.
Yeah.
But it was pretty interesting because it was two music supervisors from Los Angeles and then one editor, and they were talking about how the relationship between the two of them was, like from an editor to music supervisor, like the back and forth.
Yeah.
And something really caught my ear, which was that they said that music is getting very expensive, but because they were talking a lot about, using Led Zeppelin, using Sigur Rós, stuff like that. So I actually stood up and asked the question about what about independent artists? What about up and coming artists? What was that, relationship between the two of them, and also on the decision making process? And they said that it was actually, that they do try to focus on getting a lot of artists that are up and coming. They work with a couple companies for that. I said that I was from SoStereo. We're working with one of them already, with a company, Sounds and Colors. So it was just a very interesting thing, just to listen about how they feel that, because, very popular artists are now more expensive to get.
That is
They're
very
trying to
interesting.
focus more on up and coming at the same time.
Yeah, and I feel like the tricky part with the up and coming artists is just finding them, finding great ones that are unsigned, and they may have the great talent, the right sound for what you're looking for, but it's just maybe a lot more work to get a hold of them.
But it was also interesting to know from their perspective, like how much of back and forth it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do a brief, we send it over, and we have no idea what's going on between the music supervisor, the editor, and also the producers of a TV show, or a film. There's so much back and forth. Sometimes they're ready, everything is ready, everything is approved, and then they come back and say, no, we want to try something different after everything is already cleared and everything. So it was just a good perspective, it was good to learn about, that perspective of how things are.
Right.
Kind of like, we never know what's going on behind back doors.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What about you? What did you
Well,
today?
I dove headfirst into AI first thing.
Yes.
So I went to my first panel, and it was the CTO of Paramount, and he was walking through how they're using AI in filmmaking right now, and in film editing particularly. And because he's a technologist, it was really fascinating. He broke down the whole process. So he had a lot of charts, he had a lot of flow charts, a lot of A plus B equals C, of how you get the AI implemented within it. And it was really fascinating how far it's come, but still they have a long ways to go, because they're a huge company, so they really have to be buttoned up and organized with how they're approaching it. So he took us kind of behind the scenes with that. He went all the way from what they were doing with the older movie like Benjamin Button with Brad Pitt, that was years ago, and he was like, no, we were actually using AI. Like a lot of people claim to. We were. He was showing kind of how that whole process went and how they used the polygons on his face to make him look older or younger. It was really cool. And then but it was nice because then they fast forwarded to today, and they showed us a piece they're doing with Wu-Tang right now. And it was like in the rain, and they had all these different shots that they were piecing together with AI, and it was completely seamless. Like a lot of the stuff you see with AI where they have like 6 fingers or something weird, you could never tell. And he said that's kind of what we're excited about, is that it's crystal clear, like how we're able to piece things together and how it flows and looks, and it's just so natural looking. So it was really fascinating to watch that within
Great.
filmmaking.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you bring this up all the time. He talked a lot about the the ethics behind it, and that they built up like a whole ethics committee. So any piece of AI is always vetted through them, and they make sure that they're not sourcing things unethically or not approved, or any copyright infringement, things like that. So they seem to have buttoned up that side of it. They're still working on it, of course, but that was fascinating. And yeah, I think that's just the theme of the week is like AI everywhere.
Yeah. And that's good. I feel that South by is always a bit ahead on what's happening, and to listen firsthand of professionals in the industry and from different kinds of industry about how they're really going day to day. Everyone says, no, it's a day-to-day thing. Like, we have no idea how we're going to do it, but I think we're going to figure it out. So it still feels a little bit uneasy, but I think there's going to be a bunch more that we can check out,
Yeah. Well, the interesting part of the panel was that we had questions afterwards. He didn't answer any of them. So he was reading them off of a screen, and he kept saying, I can't answer that. I can't answer this question. I can't answer that. And then at the end, he was just like, all right, I can't anscer anything. And he just ended the panel. So who knows? There could have been a lot of can of worms people are trying to open. That would have been more fun. But
that's the thing. Like, people want to know. People feel a little bit uneasy and also interested about what the future of that is going to be.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. And then on the music front, did you see any good shows today?
Yeah. So it was like being in the KCRW showcase and being able to see Jaron was pretty cool. Yeah. It was cool because he, like, knowing that he's the keyboardist of the Black Pumas and he was just like DJing for a bit. It's great to see his, like, how dynamic his music interests are. Because he was playing like house music, and then a little bit of like new jazz and a bunch of other different genres that are related to what he does as a solo artist, So it was pretty nice. And then the band that played after was also pretty cool. But seeing him was great. It was the first one of the shows that he's gonna do in South by. So excited about the one tonight as well. Yeah,
it felt kind of like his warm up. He was easing into it. It was super chill and relaxed, and it was giving everyone a good vibe in the audience. But you can tell he's ready to go.
He's ready, and it's gonna be great. I don't know if you saw, but so the Finnish showcase where we're gonna see today with him. It's a lot of jazz, and this is my 4th year in South by. I've never seen anything with jazz here.
Oh, I love that.
So you could see like how this festival has been evolving in so many different genres. You can always see different things here, but to see jazz live, that's pretty crazy. Special. So it's gonna be super cool tonight, I think.
Awesome. It's great. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll get together tomorrow and recap what happens tomorrow.
Yes. Let's see what happens tomorrow.
Awesome.